Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 4 of the podcast here. We're going to go ahead and talk about the Rams' first preseason game that happened last night. I'm sure many of you watched it. I sure did. It was a late one for anyone that's on the East Coast. These late games can be a bit brutal, but hey, it was fun to watch though. It was fun to watch the game. Overall, just quick little thoughts. The game was a pretty entertaining game in terms of it was kind of back and forth. There were some good things I saw. There was some questionable things I saw, and there were some good things I saw. There was some questionable things I saw. Some room for improvement in certain areas. Overall, I was pretty pleased with the depth players, man. As a whole, I would say that the depth pieces played quite well, and that is so important for a championship team if they want to repeat. It is crucial for your backups and your depth players to play well. So that was it. Pretty much the one thing I would say that was, pardon me, that was disappointing was the fact that John Wolford did not play last night. Bryce Perkins played the entire game, and that's I it was a little disappointing. I wanted to see him play, but that in and of itself is a bit telling because Sean felt they wanted to bench Stafford a starter and Wolford as well, who was the primary backup, which is a bit interesting considering everything that's been going around, like with Matthew and everything. But I guess Sean just feels comfortable enough with John and how well he knows the offense. So, well, it was Bryce Perkins' night, and Bryce Perkins uh, performed very, very well and played a pretty good game and found his target, Lance McCutcheons, and they both had a big night at SoFi. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. Bryce Perkins is the third string quarterback, and that means that both players ahead of them on the depth chart will be protected for the entire offseason. And that means that Perkins will once again be one of the most prolific quarterbacks in the preseason. Um, After taking every snap for the Rams in the 2021 preseason, Perkins took every snap against the Chargers on Saturday. That's right. That's right. I kind of forgot. Perkins did take. Did Wolford even play in the preseason last year? I got to be honest. I can't quite remember. But apparently, Perkins took all the snaps last year in the preseason. And that is interesting. Okay. Okay. Let's see. With the help of undrafted rookie receiver Lance McCutchen, started 1-0 with a 29-22 victory. And McCutcheons, who was a standout for the night, finished with 5 catches, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns, helping boost Perkins' overall stats from 10 out of 17 for 133 yards, no interceptions. He also rushed for 42 yards and a third touchdown. So let's go ahead and look at some of this here. This was a pretty cool play. Nice little grab by McCutcheons as he was able to fight off some defenders. Let's go ahead and do this right here. Go ahead and mute that. Okay. Start that over. Okay. So there's Bryce launching it. There's McCutcheons. The two Chargers take themselves out. And he runs into the end zone. Look at that. Nice, man. Nice. Nice touchdown there. Can we get a replay? We can. So let's go ahead. Bryce was kept himself composed, launched it. He went up and grabbed it. The Chargers took each other out, and he ran into the end zone. Good stuff. And I like the way he was catching the ball. He really used his hands to go get it, and he looked really really good, man. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to keep him off the roster, dude. I don't even know what they're gonna do about that. But so this guy is an undrafted free agent out of Montana State. He's 6'3", 200 pounds. McCutchen was a deep ball threat in college. He averaged 19.3 yards per catch as a senior in 2021. His big play ability was evident against the Chargers. And if he has two more games like that, it's going to make it very difficult for McVay to sneak him on the practice squad. I would agree. Even though Tutu Atwell did not play on Saturday night, McCutchen's ascent should have no impact on his place with the Rams. The fact that Atwell sat probably means that McVay has big plans for him. Yeah, so Tutu did not play last night, which kind of wish he would have. I really would have liked to seen. I've always been a you need to show me kind of guy. And I keep hearing Tutu's doing well. He's doing well. And granted, the coaches know best. And if the coaches aren't playing him, that generally means that he's been doing well. But I just, I need to see it for myself. So would have liked to seen him play last night. But I guess he's going to have a role in this offense. So we'll probably see him week 1. So hopefully he's ready. A little tweet by Turf Show Times. Sean McVay thought he was sitting all of his starters, but then Lance McCutchen said hello. Crazy. Instead, LA will have to consider the futures of players like Ben Schwarnick, Jacob Harris, and Brandon Powell if they want to keep McCutchens. With Allen Robinson, Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, and Atwell fitted into their spots, perhaps only 2 of Schwarnick, Harris, Powell, and McCutchen would make the roster. Man, oh man, that's a difficult one too, man. I'd have to think about that, to be honest. McCutchen, he played well, but I want to see him do that again for the next 2 games before I make a decision. How about that? I really, he had a good game last night, but I want to see if he can do it consistently. And then we can kind of talk about whether or not he should take one of the spots here. That because it's a tough one. That's a tough decision Sean has to make, and it's gonna be interesting to see, for sure. But here's another catch, a clutch catch from once again McCutchen. So let's go ahead and do this here. Look at that. Perkins drops back, tosses it up, and despite getting held, as you can see, he goes up and catches it. Look at that. Look at that determination, y'all. Look at that determination on his face. That's what I like to see from our players. Let's see it again. Perkins drops back. He tosses it up in the air. He's being held. He's being held on the left shoulder pad. And he's still able to come down with it. See? Look at that. He's being held. He uses his hands. He doesn't let the ball come to his chest. And he grabs it. Very good work. Very good work. Good job. Let's move on. Perkins' place on the roster is also an interesting consideration. McVay knows that he has a starter and a backup who aren't going to budge. Yep, I agree. And though Perkins finished with aesthetically acceptable stats, the extended preseason appearance may or may not have prepared him to actually start against a starting NFL defense. But McVay also knows how important it is to be prepared for the worst. So, like I said before, I think they're going to keep 3 quarterbacks. You've spent all this time developing Perkins. You've worked hard. You developed him. Don't let another team experience the fruit of your hard work and labor. Okay? that is your project, that is your developmental player, keep Perkins on the roster because you just never know. You never know. Remember 2 years ago, Jared Goff gets hurt, Wolford goes in, Wolford gets knocked out like in the first playoff game, and he has to go to the hospital. So the third string, if Perkins would have been on that roster in 2020, Perkins would have finished the game against Seattle and played against Green Bay had he been able to win it. But he wasn't on the roster, so we had to have Jared Goff with a broke thumb go in there and finish the game. So it's like you need to be ready because it's not it can happen. So it's good. The quarterback is the most important position on the field. You need good quality quarterbacks, and we got three good ones, man. Stafford, I don't need to talk about him. You already know, won a Super Bowl for us. Wolford, I believe Wolford can win with us. I believe we can win with Wolford. He's very, very skilled. He's very cerebral, and he can move much like Perkins. And Perkins is tough, and Perkins is looking good too, man. So keep them all, dude. Keep them all. But moving on, let's see. Bobby Brown going to the defensive side. Bobby Brown the third with a sack. Then Darion Kendrick makes a great break on the ball for a pass defended. Yes, I remember that. Darion should have got that pick, but it is okay, Darion. These things happen. Maybe next time you can get it for sure. I think that would have been a pick six had he caught that, but I thought Darion played well. I thought Darion played well considering. Bobby Brown, I thought Bobby Brown looked good too, man, but as we know, he's going to be suspended for the first couple games. But both Bobby Brown and Ernest Brown, defensive line draftees in 2021, had sacks on Saturday night. Unfortunately, Brown is suspended for the first 6 games, and apparently he left with an injury. This was a little bit concerning. Bobby Brown limping off the field with trainers, putting almost no weight on his right leg. We don't know what's going on there, but Sean, I saw in the post-game presser that Sean said he wasn't too worried about it. But, I mean, y'all know how that is. So, we'll have to wait and see for the report and see how significant that injury actually is. And the starting offensive line included Logan Bruss at right guard, which pretty much means Coleman Shelton's pretty much going to be starting this season for us. A move that I'm okay with. AJ Jackson and Bobby Evans started at tackle, with Tremion Ankrum at left guard and Jeremiah Cologne, sorry if I got that wrong, at center. Here's the lineup. Elric Jackson, who I thought played pretty well, the left tackle. If y'all remember, he played one game for us as a extra lineman during the Baltimore game when Whitworth was hurt and No Boom had to start. I thought he played well then, and he looked good last night too. And Sean even said that he looked good. Left guard Tremion Ankrum, center Jeremiah Cologne, who got obliterated on one play when Perkins got sacked. I forget which play it was, but dang, man, I mean, you got to ground yourself because dude got completely annihilated by one of the D tackles for the Chargers. But it happens. It happens. And the right guard Logan Bruss and right tackle Bobby Evans. And Bruss came back later in the game too. Another interesting starter was rookie 7th-round pick Daniel Hardy. He was with the preseason ones on the edge, and he finished with 3 tackles, and the team's leading tackler was Jake Gervais with 5. So Daniel Hardy did good. He had a lot of great pressure on Chase Daniels, and Chase Daniel was pretty good. I thought Chase Daniel looked pretty good. He's the Chargers backup, and he looked good, man. He's a veteran quarterback. He was completing some passes. He kind of took apart our secondary in the beginning there, but yeah, he looked good. He looked good. Let's see. Justin Herbert sat this one out, as y'all know. Chase Daniels went 11 for 17, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns. In the first half, he started off scoring with a long touchdown throw to receiver Joe Reed. Was nowhere to be found. Yeah, okay, so this is the one where we got torched on the first drive, I believe. So, hold on. Hold on. Okay. Let's go back here. Yep. Here he is. And completely torched. That's Terrell Burgess there as well, I believe. It looked like let's see. Can we see it on this film here? Let's see. It's hard to see it here, but one of the guys took a bad angle. The guy broke free, and it must have been some sort of miscommunication. You know, these things happen. It's preseason. The thing is, if it's going to happen, let it happen in preseason. It's all right. Okay, get it addressed. Work on it in practice. You guys will be fine. So it's why we play these games, to knock the rust off a little bit. Okay, get the communication going, and because that is key for a football team, offense or defense. You got to be able to communicate with your guys on where you're going to be, where your assignment is. And for a lot of these depth players, they simply just do not have the experience with that. So mistakes are to be expected. There was another storyline on Saturday night, with questions still lingering around 2020's third rounders, Terrell Burgess. All eyes on defensive backs on that drive. Not sure if it was a miscommunication with Burgess and Rochelle, but outside of that, Rochelle looks healthy, somehow bigger, and definitely faster to close. Daniel Hardy seems to be a natural havoc wrecker. And yes, despite that play, I thought Rochelle looked really good. He had a few nice tackles. I thought he was very physical. And he looked good. I liked Rochelle. You take away this one play here, I thought he looked pretty good, and I'm excited to see him. He's a second-year player. He's really good, and I'm excited to see him in action. He will probably be one of the. He will probably get a lot of ample playing time this upcoming season. You have to remember, for the defensive backs, being this is a passing league, all these guys are probably going to get a good amount of playing time throughout the season, even if they're not necessarily the starters. So Robert's definitely making the 53, and I believe he will play a pivotal role and will play a lot in the secondary this upcoming season. And I think he'll do well. I really do. I like Robert. Robert Rochelle, Darion Kendrick, Jacoby Durant started at cornerback, indicating David Long Jr. is the lead to start next to Troy Hill and Jalen Ramsey. Yep, that is to be expected. Troy Hill was a veteran who played well for us, and David Long played well in the playoffs, so I think we all knew that was going to happen. The latter three will sit out of preseason, as well as safeties Jordan Fuller, Taylor Rapp, and Nick Scott. If you thought that Rapp might be in danger, he's not. And here is Blaine Gretzky with a tweet. Yep, that was on Burgess. For a player that needs to take a step this year, seeing that on his first drive isn't great. So Burgess is struggling a little bit. Okay, well, gonna watch the film, talk to the coaches, and work on it in practice. So who knows? It's a little disappointing. I was a fan of Burgess, and like I said, it's one play. People get burnt all the time. It is something to take notice of, and we'll see how he responds in the following games, the next 2 preseason games. So, Raymond Calais led the Rams with 8 carries, had 25 yards. I thought he looked good. AJ Rose had 8 carries, gained 19 yards and a touchdown. Perkins led 42 yards on the ground. Jake Funk had 6 carries for 16 yards, but also returned 2 kicks. And dude, Jake Funk, like he didn't play much, but I thought he looked real good. Jake Funk looked good, man. I could see him possibly getting some carries this upcoming season. Let's see. AJ Rose spins off a would-be tackler, punches it from the 1 yard line. Uh, PAT attempt by Cameron Dicker with Riley Dixon holding. It is good. So Cameron Dicker was kicking. So it might mean Riley Dixon might be our starting kicker. Um, but, well, no, Matt Gay's our starting kicker, but I mean, in punting is what I'm getting at. But Rams Chargers 7-7, 7:44 in the first half. Bryson Hopkins was the only tight end with a catch, gaining 9 yards and 1 reception. Let's see. A very disrespectful block on the rollout. Yeah, I saw that. Bryson Hopkins, he laid someone out during a rollout, and Bryce Perkins was able to get a good pass completion off that. But that was pretty much the gist of how the game went. But let's go ahead and transition from winners and losers from the preseason game against the Chargers. We spoke on a few of them. You know, Lance McCutcheons and Bryce Perkins, definitely winners. But let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the winners. Lance McCutcheon, wide receiver. I think that is pretty obvious. He pretty much had a standout night. Him and Bryce Perkins did. He was unstoppable against the Chargers. He finished with 5 receptions on 6 targets for 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. His most impressive play was a 60-yard catch and run, where he won a jump ball at the catch point and out-muscled defenders on his way to the end zone. 2 key plays that also don't show up on the box score. He caught a 2-point conversion and drew a defensive pass interference penalty on the goal line, which set up a Rams touchdown. So this is our top 5 receivers set right here. Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell, Ben Schwarnick. Jacob Harris is talented but rehabbing. Is 2 years early to give up on a 4th round draft selection. That's gonna be. This is a tough one, y'all. This is a tough one. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about it. Can McCutcheon make a compelling argument that he should be retained as the number 6 or 7? This guy thinks the answer is yes, but there's 2 games to go, and that's my whole thing. I wanna see more from him. I want to see the other 2 games, see how he goes, and then I can kind of make a decision from there. Bryce Perkins is another winner. He simply refused to quit. His ability to extend plays frustrated the defense. The third-year quarterback evaded at least a double-digit tackle attempt and kept the chains moving consistently on 3rd down, and which was a big driver for the Rams scoring 29 points. Yeah, he looked good, man. If you nitpick the performance in the preseason last year and on Saturday night, there's still questions about his ability to push the ball downfield. McCutcheon deserves a good portion of credit for winning contested catches on 2 downfield attempts, but this is already an improvement from Perkins' deep passing a year ago. With 2 games left, will he be able to build or not? I agree. This was a pretty awesome play here. Let's watch this. Oh, come on now. All right. Here's Perkins. He's going to evade some tacklers. Look at that. Bounces off his own guy. Bounces off this guy. Woo, stiff arms, and he gets the first down. How crazy was this? Look at that. This guy doesn't wrap up. This guy does wrap up, but Perkins out-muscles him. Stiff arms a few dudes. This dude looks good, man. Let's watch it again. Look at that. Evades 1, his own guy, then 2, 3, 4, gets the first down. He even runs into Bobby Evans, bro. Look at that. And then he still out-muscles the guy, stiff arms the guy, and gets the first down. That was a 3rd down play. and he got the first down for us. So that was very well done by Bryce. Bobby Brown had a good game. He made a few splash plays last year, but he showed his high athleticism. He got a sack. He was also very active in the running game. He left in the second half, but was able to limp off the field without putting any weight on his leg. He's suspended for the first 6 weeks, but is still figured to be an important player for the Rams. But of course, we got to figure out what this injury is all about. Let's go ahead and watch this. Do. Look at Bobby Brown go, yo! Look at Bobby Brown. I'm excited to watch Bobby Brown, man. He's from Texas A&M. He was a big-bodied guy. Barely played last year, and I'm excited to see him play. Unfortunately, he got himself suspended, but he looks legit. Where's he at? Here he is. Watch him out-muscle this guy here. Just blows right past him and sacks the quarterback. Amazing stuff. He looks so salty. Chase Daniels looks so salty here. Good job, Bobby. All right. AJ Rose did pretty good. Jake Funk started the game at running back and is likely inked in as the primary backup to Cam and Darrell. I would agree. Funk played well in limited action, despite struggles on the interior offensive line. Rushed for 16 yards and took one catch on a screen play for 10 yards. Yeah, he looked good, man. I liked how he ran. He cut well. He was very physical. He looked really good. I am excited about Funk. The offensive line started to open holes in the second half, and the biggest beneficiary was AJ Rose. Wasn't He may not have been the best back, but the 2.4 yards per carry on the box score doesn't do his effort justice. He ran well through contact and was an effective player in the passing game. He was able to pass Calais on the depth chart by the end of the preseason. He may be able to. Maybe. I mean, maybe, man. We'll see. We'll see. Let's look at this touchdown, though. Lord have mercy. Okay. Look at that. Bounces off. Two guys. And, dude, I'm loving the physicality I'm seeing from the depth players. I really believe the Rams made a fundamental change in practice and how they went about their business late last year, because I am sure they heard the criticism from the fans and the media, how they thought Rams aren't that physical. And whatever they did, they ramped it up in practice, but they definitely turned it around in the playoffs. They played a lot more physical, which won them the championship. And so far, dude, I mean, these guys, these are the depth players, y'all. Smacked, but he's still going. That's the effort I love to see. I love to see that, man. That's the physicality I've been talking about. And seeing that gets me so encouraged for the future. I love this. I love this. This is what's going to help us repeat if we're able to. But that's a long way off, so we shall see. This guy has Tutu Atwell as a winner. He didn't play, but he's saying how since he didn't play, that means that he has a roster spot and that Sean believes that he's going to do well this season, which he might. He might, but like I said a little earlier, I need to see it. I need to see it first, so, you know. This is Jordan Rodriguez. Says, I would be pretty surprised if we don't see him at all this preseason. Might be worth noting the Rams do run a very different offense with Perkins at quarterback. But we'll see if he gets any run the next couple weeks. Like McVay said a couple times, he wanted All right, so let's go ahead and see the losers now. Unfortunately, Logan Bruss was playing well in the fourth quarter, which is yet another sign that Coleman Shelton has a seemingly firm grasp on the starting job. That's not to say Bruss uh, won't have a role in the 2022 Rams, but it does mean he's falling short of competing for the first position atop the depth chart. Um, I see what he's saying here. I don't know if that would categorize him as a loser per se. Just that he's a rookie, and they prefer at this time Coleman Shelton, and that Logan Bruss has not had any kind of NFL experience yet, and they may just want to see how he adapts to the speed of the NFL. Okay, they don't have any tape on him. They have tape on Coleman Shelton. So it stands to reason they'll be more comfortable with him, and they might be playing him just to see how he plays against NFL talent. But he didn't. I mean, he played well. I thought he played well. I thought he looked good. You know, obviously these are depth pieces on the Chargers, so take that with a grain of salt. But I thought he played well. I did. I thought he played well. But right now he's just losing the spot to Coleman as of right now. Um, let's see. Logan Bruss is at right guard. Cologne at center. If Coleman Shelton doesn't play tonight, probably an indication he'll be starting right guard, like we were just talking about. Let's see. Reserve tight ends: Roger Carter and Jamal Pettigrew. Let's see the tops. So the top three spots at tight end: Tyler Higbee, Kendall Blanton, Bryce Hopkins. All three of those guys are a sure thing to make the team. But could we keep four? I don't know. Aside from Roger Carter, blocked to seal the edge on Perkins' touchdown, both he and Jamel Pettigrew were relatively quiet on Saturday night. So, didn't really make a whole lot of noise. Hopefully, we can see how they do in the next two games. But I just don't see. I don't know if we're gonna keep four tight ends. That's the thing. So we'll see. We'll see. They'll probably get put on the practice squad though. So that is something we will keep our eye on. Let's see. LA might be without Bobby Brown due to an injury. Yeah, that is something we are gonna need to find out what's going on with, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it's not bad news. Hopefully it's just a minor ache and pain. But we'll see. We'll see. And then some other stuff. I see. The thing is, I really don't care what other teams are doing. To be honest, that's just me. But the Jets, I guess, had a scare with Zach Wilson's knee. He turned out to be all right. And the Atlanta Falcons saw their first round receiver, Drake London, with an injury, though he'll be all right as well. Oh no, they're still waiting. Oh man, I hope he's all right. I don't want to see anyone get hurt, y'all. I don't wish that on anybody. Honestly, it's I don't want to see anyone get hurt. This is how these people make their money. They've worked hard their whole life to get here. I don't want to see someone not be able to perform or have a career because they got themselves injured. I don't want to see that, but it happens. It happens. So that is why we rest our starters. But overall, I thought it was a good night. Very fun to see Rams football again. We had some good things. We had some things we can work on. And it's going to be interesting to see how things unfold from here. But that's going to be it for now, guys. I will catch you guys on the next one. And check it out. I'm Charles the Ram now. Charles the Ram. But I'll catch you guys on the next one. And as always, go Rams.